Okay, so welcome back to a new guide on this channel, and this occasion is explode pitches to tracks. Right, so let's just begin right here. Have an impact 2, and it's an instance of impact, right? So there you go. Now then we have let's say that we have just a track. Now if I play it, it's gonna sound something like this. It's gonna go through a progression. We start, go to the next clip, and then it's just gonna repeat. So we have 3 different patterns, right? Something very simple. Now, all of this is just very cool, but what I want to do, I want to take all the information that I have right here in my MIDI, different MIDI, the MIDI tracks, and I want to take them to different tracks. Now, there's one thing I need to show you right here on my impact. Every single pad, it goes to the same channel. We can see 1, 1, 1, 1. So all the different pads go to the same channel. Right now, it's not super important, but you will see the difference in a minute. So how can we break this into multiple parts? You need to select everything that you need to break into multiple parts. Then you do right click and you go to instrument parts. So when you go there, you have a bunch of options, but there's one that says explode pitches to tracks. So every pitch that was playing something on the impact, it will just be getting its own channel. And this is how it works. I'm going to click it. And there you go. So this is what you get. You get pretty much your whole arrangement. And if I play it back, we can see that this is just, it's just going. And it works like a charm. Right. Okay. Now, there's a funny little thing right here. So we have a bunch of tracks, but we only have one single channel. So the thing is that when you do something like this and you have only one instance of impact behind the scenes, when you explode the pitches to tracks, all of these tracks are going to be routed to the same impact. It's not like creating different versions of the impact with the same sounds. That would be a nonsense, opening 10 instances of the same plugin. So what they are doing, notice that when I open a plugin, maybe the impact from here, all of them go orange. And it's because it's a single instance. This is why I was telling you the number right here is important, because all the different pads are going to the same channel because this is the channel. And, we can see that every single sound goes out this channel. Now, what if you want more channels right here at the bottom that listen to all the different parts? So first of all, the first thing you need to do is to go to the plugin, whether it's Impact or a different VST, and I'm going to give you an example, and you need to change the channel. So let's say that the snare is something that I want to process individually, right? So I'm going to be going to snare, and I'm going to say that the snare is going to go out on stereo number 3. So now this one will have a different channel. Now notice that something goes on right here. And this is something you get by default with impact. So when you do something like this, when you have a pad that wants to go to an independent channel, you need to enable it right here. So again, is the number 3. So I want to go to the impact and say that the number 3 will be an independent channel where we can add plugins and process it that way. So if I play it back and do the same thing, we can see that the snare goes right here. So now we can do the processing like we would just normally do. It's just the usual way, right? So this is one way of doing things, and it works just perfectly. Right, so I have a different example right here. Now, maybe you notice the difference, maybe you don't. So by default, these are patterns. They are not just common MIDI clips. Now, the other difference is that if I open Impact, right here, each pad is going to its own channel. And I did the work behind the scenes of assigning each different pad to its own channel. So each different part is going to go to its own channel independently. So you can just mix the different parts. Right. So, okay, so this is the pattern, and maybe you don't know them. I made a deep dive about this. Maybe you can watch it and learn about patterns, but patterns are a little bit different than standard MIDI clips. So look what happens if I want to explode pitches to tracks. I'm going to be doing right click. We go to instrument parts, and we don't get it. We don't get explode pitches to tracks. And it's because you cannot do it for patterns. And it's because the whole idea of having a pattern is that you can manage it from here. You have access to all the information, the different scenes that you get with patterns. That's, the cool thing. So if you want to create multiple channels, multiple tracks, or exploit it to tracks, you cannot do it with patterns. You need to convert this to a normal MIDI standard track, no pattern, and only then you can exploit it to tracks. So I'm going to be doing right click, and the option to do this is going to be render instrument tracks. So when I do this, it's going to just do it, and now our super special pattern clip is a normal MIDI clip. So I can just select everything. I'm going to do right click and then go to explode pitches to tracks. And it will do the same trick than before. We still keep all the different channels. If I play it, we can see them going right here. So this works the same way. The difference is that you just cannot do it with patterns. You need to convert them to common MIDI tracks. And if you think about this, it makes sense. So just to finish, I have a different example. What if you like to use a VST and not Impact, right? And this, it's a very common example. So I'm going to bring XO, right? So maybe XO is a great, kind of a drum machine, let's say. So I'm going to be playing, and all of this is going through XO, and we can see all the different tracks right here, grooving. All right? Cool. Now, I want to take this and exploit it to tracks. What happens if I do so? So I'm going to be going here, selecting everything, and I'm going to go to instrument parts and then explode pitches to tracks. Let's do it. I'm going to be doing it, and it's going to just create it. And if I play it back, it works. Now, this works exactly the same than the Impact, but we still have the problem that we don't get the channels right here. Now, I cannot give you a solution right here because this is something that you will need to do some figuring out with the plugin that you're using. So on XO, for example, when you go to the different parts that you have right here, when you go there, you have an option that says, how do you want to manage the output? So if you go right there, it's going to say maybe auto route all outputs, and it's going to say that the 8 slots that you have available are going to be sent to the bus 1 all the way to the 8, right? So if I do it something like this, it's going to do it behind the scenes, but this will not guarantee that you will get the channels. It's something that you need to enable right here. So if I play it, that is that we just don't get it. I just get the master. So I need to add them. And then once I do so, then and only then, we get the channels right here at the bottom, so we can process it. All right, cool. All right, so that's it. That's the explode pitches to tracks. So hopefully you learned something on this one. And remember, if you liked all of this and you learned something, to like and subscribe. And if you have the money and you want to buy me a coffee, because, you can afford it, you can go to the links at the description, and you have links for PayPal, YouTube Thanks, and you have Patreon. Maybe you can be a 1-month patron and buy me a coffee that way. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.